Hey guys, welcome to the Real SD podcast. I'm your host, Patrick O'Connor with Market Real Estate, and we meet with San Diego's most dynamic entrepreneurs, creatives, artists, and professionals to talk about our city, business, food, music, and what inspires us most. So join in and meet your neighbors. All right, I have Israel Castillo here for my guest today, and for the sake of timestamp, it's May 3rd, so we're going into. This is what, like the seventh week of the lockdown, right?
Week 7.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's
at least this past week, there's been like we can go back to the beaches, and there's been like people can get back outdoors and stuff. So it's
yeah, without feeling guilty about it.
Exactly right.
Like
yeah, you don't have to like sneak to the beach or like sneak down to the cliffs or something. So.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, thank you for taking some time and joining us. You got a really awesome project that we'll dive into and talk about. But first, if you just want to introduce yourself real quick.
Sure. My name is Israel, as Pat mentioned, and just photographer, San Diego native. Been doing photography for over 20 years. Just like a lot of personal projects, freelance. Haven't really worked with anybody or for anybody, so except for like my main jobs. So right now I work at Chrome Digital, and we have had a huge impact from like the quarantine, but we are doing like online orders. So just like a very small crew. So just busy with that and my 2 kids. So
family life at home. So how old are the kids?
3 and 1.
Sure. Okay. So they haven't been like off to school and then, like everyone else who has like middle school age kids, they're, so.
We were just about to hire a nanny right before this happened because my wife was promoted to full time. So we were going to have somebody come in, and it was like literally that week. Because when we're like, all right, we're not bringing anybody in the house. And then I was like off at home for a few weeks, and then I just slowly started going to the shop part-time in the afternoon once my wife got home. So
I mean, for a lot of people, it's like, there was that initial like lockdown and like businesses had to shut down, offices closing, and it was like kind of like a lot of shock, but then it's like now it's rolling back to where people can either work from home or like adjusted kind of shop hours and things like that. So it's like there's a little bit of, of course this has been like a serious health concern, but then there's like a little bit of like a forced vacation where some people are getting like, it's interesting, but it's good to get that like kind of forced family time and home time again.
Yeah, it just slows you down. It's just like we're just so used to going and going and going. And I have friends, like a friend that was, going to cover the Olympics, and like his whole, like all that got canceled, like the trials and like the games, of course, and then other sporting events. So, just friends, like all their gigs just froze, and they're just used to being on the road, and now they're just, home and adjusting.
And people just kind of thinking about different ways to like stay busy and e-commerce and all that kind of stuff. So
I've been in training for this for like the last 3 years with the little kids. So it's not too bad, not too hard of an adjustment. Just going to the park is a little rough. Can't go there. Little one wants to go and like on the jungle gym, you can't.
And trying to explain why they can't like jump on the playground and like so like I can see it right there.
Leaving the park screaming, you're like, I feel so bad. So we avoid that.
So. Absolutely. So let's talk about, we do a record of the day, which is always fun because I always love to hear like what people like and their musical tastes and stuff like that. So for today, we did 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang. Classic hip hop album. So any thought, or like, was there a reason?
I just remember when that came out, had roommates, and we just sat, and we had 2 turntables set up in the house, and like one room would be like house, and another room would be DJ and ambient. I guess now it's like mushroom jazz, but we would just sit in one of our roommates' room and just like zone out and just blowing our minds. It's just insane. So
for sure. So I grew up in Massachusetts, and like growing up skateboarding, we'd for, I don't know, 6, 7 months of the year, it's like you're stuck inside, like winter just hits and you can't go outside. So
Yeah.
I remember this in middle school, we would build like these little shitty mini ramps, just like terrible mini ramps, like in my buddy's like garage or barn or whatever. And like, that's what the soundtrack was. It's like this. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's where it brings me right back there. It's like,
So
awesome.
that's our generation. Right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things I love is we were texting about which record to pick, and like I was trying to show you some of the sleeves and stuff, and you had like that, and then Miles Davis, like full opposite spectrum. So it's cool to see.
Yeah.
Like,
My musical taste is like all over the map. I've had this. My parents were like soul, Motown, and then it was neighbors. Like as I was getting like teen, was ska. You know, a lot of English music.
Yeah.
And then I had a cousin live with us for a few months, and it was like all just like hardcore metal or just classic rock right now, like you know, Sabbath and Rush, you know.
It's funny, just all the different like phases of stuff that like people like kind of expose you to. So
a lot of sticks with you. So
yeah, for sure. So let's we'll jump in, and the reason I had you on is this project that you do it's really awesome and it caught my eye. It's called Portraits on Kettner, and let's just kind of jump in and talk about like what inspired that and kind of how'd that start and a little bit about what it is.
Okay. I tried not to get, too far like how it started, but I like working at Chrome, like I just would just find projects to do. And like, I think my daughter was about 1 at that point. So I didn't have a lot of time to go shoot projects. So I would just have like my medium format camera down at work, and then I was fascinated with the 747 that would fly in once a day.
Yeah,
I would track that, daily, and then just try to find different angles around Little Italy to capture it, like whether it's on top of the parking structure on Laurel, or on top of the art building, or just on India, just different angles. And then one day, my buddy Alan was at the shop, and I just asked him to stand in the middle of the street. He just has like this cool style. And then a couple of days later, I had my buddy Chris. He's a bike messenger. He did a track stand in the middle of the street. And then I had another friend stand in the street, and then another one. And then I'm like, I think I'm onto something here. So I kind of like veered away from shooting the planes and just started utilizing some friends that would come to the shop and just tell them about the project real fast. And then that is just pretty much snowballed from there. And it just, you can just see like the time, the growing of Little Italy, because now there's like some new like building going up. I remember just like shooting for almost a year, and all of a sudden this crane pops up. And now it's just like, now we're losing our view of downtown.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting looking at the initial first ones. It's because it's been maybe about 2 years or something like that.
A little over a year.
Okay.
Going on a year and a half.
Yeah, and like you said, there's one of the neat things is there's the subject, the person you're taking the photo of, which is kind of part of the story, and these people around the neighborhood and friends and stuff like that. And then there's the backdrop that you can kind of get lost in a little bit too if you look at it, and just the different stuff going on. There's Bird Rock, the cafe in the background, and people over at Crack Shack or Juniper and Harvey. And like you said, now recently there's this giant construction crane going up, so you can kind of see just different things going on in the neighborhood and changing. So it's really cool to look at when you sort of scroll through all the different ones you've done now.
And then like the weather, like just you have like the different lighting conditions, and like the like whether it's rain or super sunny. So
And so have you tried to make it so there's sort of any like consistency to it, or like knowing that, I don't know, like afternoon light, because where your shop is, it's right on Kettner and Juniper, so you're going to get some pretty like harsh western sun as the sun starts to set. So do you try to like do it at a certain time, or?
I try to do it before, like it also depends like what time of year it is, because sometimes the light's a lot harsher, like before 11. So I mainly do it before 11 a.m. and that's like if it's overcast, but if there's like the light isn't ideal, then, and if there's like a rad subject, I just have to pass it up, and just so, and like after 2 is pretty ideal. And then now with like the longer hours, like 4 is perfect, 4:30.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, because a lot of them, you look at them, they kind of have this like, that like a haze or a glow to them in the background. So I was wondering if that's like an editing effect, or if that's more of like choosing the time, or just
I
the
think the
general.
first ones, the first few may have been editing effects. I may
Mhm.
have gone like too harsh,
Yep.
like I think I was trying to like just burn in the background a little bit.
Hmm.
And then a friend she advised me to, to pull back on that. So
Yep.
then I did.
Hmm.
And I like I would say like 6 months into it, I don't even know, like 128th person or something like that. Then it kind
Yeah.
of like pulls back a bit. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
yeah.
And so I think one of the cool things to note about this is that I didn't realize that you do it on actual film, right? So you're
Mhm.
developing actual rolls of film for this project.
Yeah. So I take it to Nelson. So I just go and so it's a 120 film, and it's 12 images per roll.
Hmm.
And I don't know where I got the concept of just doing two people, or
Yep.
two shots, per person. It's just, I think, just by chance,
Hmm.
it just kind of happened that way. And
Well, because film isn't cheap anymore.
no, not at all, not at all. I
So
think that there's only been three people where I've had more than like two
yeah,
shots.
yeah,
My friend who did a handstand, he got five,
yeah,
and then another friend who tried to do a kickflip,
yeah.
but it was unsuccessful and burned a roll of film. So I just
You
the last
put
one,
him
I'm
on
like,
the
just
spot.
stand there, don't even
Yeah, yeah.
don't move.
Stand there with your skateboard.
Yeah, and then Kevin with the burnout, he got a whole roll.
Yeah, awesome. And we're gonna pull that up in a little bit here. There's a couple I asked you to pick, maybe try to pick a couple favorites. So we got three that we'll kind of go over. Um, but yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was so you touched on it a little bit, but like how do you meet some of your subjects? Because it's a lot of people, and that's like almost a job in itself trying to pick like people. So is it just passerby or?
A few are passerbyers, like strangers.
Mhm.
A lot. The first part of the project was people that actually came into Chrome, and
Yeah,
it's still that way now. If I don't, know the person and they have like a cool look, or if we just like right off the bat just jive, I'll just,
yeah.
have like a card handy. Hey, I'm doing this, or I'll pull the Instagram like on
Mhm.
on the computer and just show them what I'm doing, and
Yeah,
like 9 times out of 10 they say yes.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it's
Yeah,
pretty cool. And
yeah.
then a lot of times it's just reaching out to people on Instagram that were friends, and if
Hmm.
they live in town, then I'll just just ask them. So, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they'll tell friends about it, and then people will contact me, and then so I've met like maybe 50, 60 people just from
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an awesome way to just kind of connect and meet some of the people that you see around the neighborhood. And like, we're only a block or two away, but that was,
Hmm.
first time I'd like actually got to meet you and chat a little bit. So it's cool just to kind of connect people that you see around. Like some of the really good ones you've done that I've seen in the past is that guy Eddie who rides the trike around.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he's like always around the neighborhood. And it's cool. I didn't know he was like a Vietnam vet. And
Oh yeah, the guy's super interesting. He comes
yeah,
and gets cans. Like,
yeah,
sometimes we'll have cans for him, and we'll just like
yeah, yeah,
chit chat. And like the cool thing is that you get to wait in between the traffic too.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
like Kettner's pretty busy, but not right now. But
Yeah,
months ago, it was just you have to wait, maybe
yeah. I mean,
5, 10 minutes until like no cars are coming, and then we have like maybe a minute or so just to
yeah,
get
yeah.
the shot. So
And like
we
you
get that
said,
time to just bond and just to get to know each other and chat.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
We
like you
don't get
said,
that a lot.
you only get those two shots, so it's not like you get to do like glamour shots. It's like just get
No,
out there and just get it. So it's kind of whatever happens. So,
stand here, do a pose, and
yeah, yeah. And that's it, man. You get what you get.
exactly. Yeah.
So let's pull up. I'm gonna try to do screen share. So we're gonna see. It should work, but hey, who
Okay.
knows? I'm
All
gonna
right.
try to pull up one, and then we'll kind of chat about it real quick.
Okay.
All right. So do you see that or?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So
Okay.
we'll do this is you said it's your buddy here, so let's talk about this one.
Yeah. So this one was the last. So I had a show in February at Fall Brewing, and he's the general manager. So that's Kevin Jackson. And
Okay.
we've been talking about this photo for a while, and it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the show. We came down, and ironically, like there's never cops that come down there.
Yeah.
I never really see cops on Kettner.
Yeah, yeah.
There was this cop on the corner just sitting for like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then another one pulls up,
Yeah.
and then they go stand in line at Crack Shack. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to ask these guys because you have to get back to work. I have to get back to work. So
Yeah.
we had a flyer, so I ran to the shop, ran over to them, and I I just showed him like, hey guys, like I've been working on this project for over a year. Like this is my last photo before the show. You know,
Yeah.
do you mind if he does a burnout? The guy's like, a burnout? I'm like, yeah, burnout. He's like,
Yeah.
we're gonna go eat over here.
Yeah.
Don't crash. I'm
Yeah.
like, sick. We got this. So I ran back. I'm like, let's do it. So there's a little crowd on the left hand side there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's awesome.
he did it, and then like, just right to the right, so you see the Ford, and there's
Yeah.
like another tail light. So that's a cop car right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a truck. He was delivering some furniture like across the street from us,
Yeah.
and so he, like, I kind of want to have a little bit more distance from Kevin, but I was like right by the truck, and I didn't want the truck in the frame, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how that came out. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. The guys are like, yeah, we just put in our lunch order, so don't bother us. We won't bother you.
Exactly. So now there's like a permanent mark like on the street there.
Yeah. Now that's like your marker where you used to have the subject stand.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
it was like this dual purpose. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll pull up another one here. Let's see. Do this one. All right. Cool. Is that up?
Yep. I got it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So that's so we have a mutual friend, and I just like we're friends through Instagram. So I reached out and asked her, like, she was one of the people that I just happened to meet, and she came down, take this portrait, and she just started doing this spin. She spun twice, and it just, again, with just taking 2 shots, I got lucky with this one, and I just like the movement and like the way her dress is flowing, and just it just really, I was stoked when this came out.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, because a lot of them are a little bit stationary, just the subject and the frame, and a couple fun ones like you said with the like the handstand stuff like that. But this is cool because it's just like it kind of kept capturing that motion. So
yeah, when you see somebody like, because she's a photographer, so she's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, I don't know, do something cool. And
yeah. It's like one of the hardest things when you're like you're like, what do I do with my hands? Like, how do I stand?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So then we'll do one more, and
they said 2, but I had to throw this one in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. Is that up?
Yep, I can see that. All right, so that's my wife, Courtney.
Oh, okay.
And,
awesome.
Yeah, and that's my eldest daughter, Louise, there. And 2 days later, Charlie was born. So,
oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah. And there was only one photo. I only got to take one photo.
Really? Yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know how we just ended up with one frame on that, but yeah, it was pretty cool. So that was on a Saturday, and then we were in the delivery room on that Monday. So,
wow, that's amazing. Yeah. It's like the last snap before life got real hectic.
Yeah, crazy.
Rad. Awesome, man.
So those are 3 favorites that I can like kind of narrow down, but there's just so many more. Like just the stories and just like the feedback that I'm getting on this project, and just it took a life of its own. You know? It's like, it's insane.
Yeah. It's cool. So let's see. So I'll pull that down, go back to the full screen. Any, so you've told us like a couple stories, but like any like mishaps or just the shit went wrong, you had it scheduled and it just couldn't pull it together? Any funny stories?
The mishaps, I had this one friend who's a friend now, but I ride my bike to work and I live in North Park. And I would hear this dude, some music coming, and then this guy just flying on his bike, you know, and then he just like, I want to get some speakers for my bike. So I bought like a little speaker, so now I can like have some tunes while I'm going to work. Yeah. And I eventually, met the dude, and then I asked him to come down to the shop and take a photo, and he was, totally down. But he was out of focus. Like both images were just like badly out of focus. And I don't know how it happened, because it was up until the point where I was probably like on 187, where there was like no soft images. Yeah. And then from then on, I've had like, I think maybe 3 other people that have been out of focus, and I'm like, like what's going on here? Like, I don't know if I'm in a rush or something like that. So I had 2 people come back, and he hasn't come back yet. So I'm still trying to come back. So. Yeah,
check back with him next week. But that's the crazy thing with film is like you just take it, you're hoping it's going to be great, and then you got to wait. Like, what's the turnaround time to like you're developing it and you don't even know what you caught until it comes back?
So I usually do like, I was up to like 2 rolls a week. Yeah. So and then now I shot maybe, I think it was 4 people before the quarantine.
Yeah.
And I've shot 2 people after,
Yeah.
yourself and my buddy David, with
Yeah.
masks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, no, 3. So, so I got the street completely empty.
Hmm.
So I came down on a Sunday, and it was just like I just wanted to get like nothing on Kettner, and I
Yeah.
think it was except a motorcycle over by Bird Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to get that impact of just like from like all these other images to like nothing,
Yeah.
and then it's going to transition into like people with masks.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly starting to shoot, again, but not
Mhm.
as aggressive as I was,
Yeah.
'cause
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
like on like I was just had to like schedule 2 people a day,
Yeah.
on top of like work, and
Mhm.
they were totally rad about that
Yeah.
because it doesn't take long,
Yeah.
and we just work our butts off there. So it
Yeah.
just now I'm just kind of like slowly reaching out to people. I had a buddy who's a nurse come down, and he wore his full on like covered mask and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So
Scrubs and everything.
scrubs and all, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's like you were saying when we're in our like regular calendar of everything, it's like the consistency is there because it's like you're just
Hmm.
like in the hustle doing it all. It's like you just have,
Yeah.
and then it's like this whole thing just kind of like scrambled everybody's like normal routine of life, and it's like you kind of almost have to like like reset things a little bit. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was in the mode, because I was like my outlet, as far
yeah,
as
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like work, shooting, and then home. And then like, yeah, of course I have tons of photos of my kids, but
yeah.
that's like from my other Instagram account. So, but
Yeah, and that's actually a good transition. So, this is like a really kind of specific project you do, but of course, like you said, you're a photographer. You've been doing it for a decade plus or something. What's some do you like do freelance stuff, or are there any other like focuses for your photography that you do?
I do. I think I'm horrible at marketing,
Yeah,
So if people like recommend me, then yeah, I'll go after it.
yeah,
But other than
yeah,
that, I'm just constantly just working on something.
yeah, yeah.
So now, like, riding my bike to work, the streets are empty, so I carry
Mhm.
this little point and shoot, and I've been documenting for like the last 7 weeks of just empty streets and
Yeah,
like empty just landmarks, and also
mhm.
just trying to find like cool colors and just abstract stuff around town.
Yeah,
Like yesterday I took a drive and found some cool stuff, and then
yeah,
went through downtown and all that. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing's presented like a window of opportunity where the city just looks different. It's just
mhm.
like stuff is empty. The beaches are empty. I went up to by Belmont Park the other day, and it was just creepy because the roller coaster is just like empty,
Yeah,
nothing going on there. So it just kind of looks like this haunted amusement park. It's
yeah,
just stuff you'll never see in, well, hopefully we'll never see in San Diego again, just like
yeah,
empty,
exactly.
So
Yeah, it's historic, So I'm thinking, like, hopefully I have other friends that are like out there shooting, So I
yeah.
want to hopefully do it, like curate a show,
Hmm.
about this period that we're going through.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's one thing.
Yeah, and then the red tide. I don't know if you've seen any of that going on at the beaches with glowing waves and everything.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
been
I didn't
all
make it
over it.
down.
Yeah,
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 so looked pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. We took our e-bikes out yesterday, and we saw it. Like last week we saw it down at like Sunset Cliffs, and I think they're trying to kind of like clamp down on Sunset Cliffs a little bit because it's been really crowded. But we went and
Yeah.
saw the sunset in OB, and you could still see it, so it's still around. But yeah, it's
Oh
it's
wow.
pretty cool. So
Okay. Cool. I should make it
yeah.
down.
Yeah, and so with this project, the reason I found it was through social media, just like scrolling through whatever hashtags the local neighborhoods and stuff. So, how do you think has social media changed what you do? And I know you said like you're not good at marketing, but I mean that's how I ended up finding it. So,
Oh, I think yeah, it's definitely changed because you're just instead of just relying on your website,
Mhm.
to put new images up, it's a lot easier just to like like a daily like update, like a blog,
Yeah,
like
mhm.
and it makes me like not be lazy.
Yeah,
It
mhm.
keeps me out there shooting, and I'd still be out there shooting, but it's just more of like a sharing
Yeah,
tool.
mhm.
So there's things that, and like for Is Not Is, where the Kettner project is on, I had like this internal battle for about 2 or 3 months to kind of like mix in my Kettner series
Mhm.
and other stuff I'm working on, and I still have to like, it's like pretty much dedicated that Is Not Is to the Kettner project, but I still
Yeah,
have past work on there.
mhm.
But
Mhm.
when you scroll down for like the last year, it's like all
Yeah,
just portraits. So I created another one to kind of like, and I just felt like there was this pressure where I had to like just
mhm.
have a consistency on one page. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so I created another one for family and like other work that I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
all just the other like personal pursuits and stuff like that. So
yeah.
and we'll put all the your Instagram handle and all that kind of stuff in the show notes so people can check it out afterwards. So they'll have, you know, where to check it out and so. And then you were talking about it a little bit, but there was a like a photo exhibit that you did. So is that still up?
It is, yep.
Yeah.
Because they're selling beer to go,
Mhm.
so sometimes the walls are exposed, and other times they're just full of like cases of beer. But yeah,
Yep.
it's been up since March 22nd,
And this
and
is at
Fall Brewing Company.
Fall Brewing. Okay.
Yeah. So we oh, my daughter just woke up from a nap and just stared at me. My wife took her into the other room.
Yeah.
I was supposed to actually take the show down the week of the quarantine. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
like that Monday, like people weren't too sure what was happening. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, what's going on? Like, oh, just, you know, we'll let you know. And then,
Yeah.
you know, that Thursday we get the lockdown. So we're just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but it's like the longest art show up there.
Yeah, yeah, you're getting some free extended weeks out of it.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
rad. Yeah, and so do you just kind of pick again some of your favorites, or I mean, I'm sure you're not like you don't have every one up there, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for real? Yeah, nice.
209 are up there.
Yeah, that's an undertaking just getting all those up. So
yeah, they're in panels, so they're great. So each panel has 20, except one has 10.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I filled those walls up pretty good.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So.
Well, my next question, we actually already talked about it. We were going to talk about some of the gear, but I think you kind of covered that. And then really just kind of to wrap things up. So are there plans for the future with this project? Is it something that you feel like has a timeline on it, or?
I think the only timeline is if I get over it, but there's always people, you know, down there. And I think now with the twist of having like mandatory masks, I think that's a new aspect of it. So I'm going to probably reach out to maybe put something in my stories to, you know, create some traffic. I definitely want to get frontline workers, you know, just like our local mail person that delivers at Chrome, you know, ask if they want to stand in. I got some firefighters right before, so they're on this role that I need to get processed. There's like 3 guys, so maybe a police officer, just somebody like, you know, in the front line, like a grocery worker. So and then just other people, you know, that just want to get involved and, you know, willing to stand for a portrait. You know, we'll definitely, our distance is definitely more than 6 feet. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm masked up too, so But no, I eventually want to do a book. So I was going to do one with 300, but, you know, with this time I've thought about possibly breaking up and have like different volumes. So,
yeah. I mean, and like you said, now that there's sort of like a timeline to these, like the different stuff that's happening now, so you can kind of do, you know, a little bit of before and after of just this kind of thing. So
you definitely just have to, you know, it slowed me down, you know, and made me think about the process and where I'm going and what's next, you know, because at first I didn't pick up the camera for like 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe more, you know, until I finally just had a buddy might come down and just like, and now like all projects, they just, you know, they just take certain turns. You just have to go with the flow, because if you just get too, you know, set on things and, you know, they don't work out, you just get disappointed, may get over it. So,
so the answer is, as long as you feel creative and kind of have some inspiration, you can just keep doing it. So,
and I think that'll just keep going, you know, because I dig people and I just,
so. Perfect. And any last parting words?
That's it. So the camera is a Rolleiflex 6003 series.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like this huge medium format camera. There's no tripod, just handheld.
Yeah.
So,
And for anyone who's under 30, you actually had to take film and put it into a camera. If you didn't get a perfect shot, you didn't just get to delete it and take another selfie. Like there's, you know.
So I do scan the negative afterwards and then do some minor tweaking in Photoshop. But nothing major. So But parting words, no, just everybody stay safe, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get through this.
Yeah, for sure, man. I feel like hopefully we're all turning a corner and getting back to a little bit more real life, as long as everybody kind of stays safe and kind of does their thing.
Just be smart about
masks. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking some time today. It is really, really fun talking with you, and we'll see you out there, bud.
Sounds good, bro.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Later.
That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave us a review or a comment. We'd love to hear what you think, who you'd like us to have on, or other topics we should discuss. On YouTube, you can follow Market Real Estate. That's MRKT Real Estate. Or look up Real SD Podcast on all the other major platforms, including Spotify, Apple Music, and Anchor FM. Thanks again. See you next time.